I started this Hoya video almost a year ago with many very sad plants. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This time we're gonna talk about Hoya. And I filmed the first part of this video in February last year. So I'm gonna show you every plant I had after the renovation, including an update how it looks now. And then over the year, I also got quite a few new plants that I'm gonna include at the end. If I have a haul from it, I'll show you a whole footage of how I got it and how it looks now, just to give you an idea of how much a plant can grow and also how bad it can go, because some of my favorite Hoya that I'm showing you in this video actually look really bad right now. While you're here, give this video a like, that's really helpful. Oh, if you're new, hi, my name is Roos, my pronouns are she, her. I'm a plant lover from the Netherlands. I started collecting Hoya back in December 2019. And the last time I counted, I had about 60 different species. So I'm very interested in what my final count will be at the end of this video. Maybe editing Rose can put it in there because I don't know right now. We'll see. Sad Hoya. Hopefully by the end of this video, they're not so sad anymore. If you don't know, we had our home renovated, which meant that all my plants had to move away for about 3 months, from October to December. And the Hoya lived with my brother-in-law, which was a beautiful light space, but it did get very cold. Sorry, there's fungus gnats flying around. It got quite cold, and I've noticed that most of my Hoya right now are looking very, very sad. We'll tell you what I think is wrong with them and what I'm doing to save them. Ooh, this one looks bad. So we can troubleshoot together and hopefully I can save some of them. But actually, when moving the plants back right before New Year, I noticed that several of them had already died fully. Like there's nothing left anymore. My Hoya scorticini, my Hoya lacunosa, there's a bunch that didn't make it. Let's just start with the one that I'm holding up. This is a Hoya finlaysoni that I've had for a while. It actually looks a little bit like a clemensiorum because these leaves are so dehydrated. Can you see that? The first thing I did when I brought these home is take some cuttings of the more healthy material to hopefully root them and continue to have some of the plants that I really didn't want to lose, like this one. There's 2 plants in this pot and both of them look very dehydrated, although this one is a little bit better. And you can see here at the base why. This is the one stem. You can see that blackness. Each little cut that was there before, or the broken off leaves, is all black. I don't think this stem is alive, and I also don't think it has many roots anymore that are happy. This one also looks a little bit woody, but it does look a lot better than the other stem. I should repot it and check the roots and then restart it. But since I already did the restarting part, I'm just gonna continue watering this and seeing what happens. I don't think this will make it actually, because the roots are pretty gone, I feel like. I should also tell you, I have been struggling with several different pests on my Hoya. I already had the flat mites that most of you will know about, unfortunately, if you have Hoya. I also noticed there was thrips damage on some of my Hoya. I will show you in a second. And of course, I also had mealybug issues. This one seems to not have too much of that, so it's not as bad as some of the others. I was lucky. I ended up with 2 happy plants of this plant. This is the main one. It is pretty big, long stem with lots of leaves, although it hasn't grown a new leaf in a while. The tendril looks pretty happy. There's a few new growth points like here and here as well, actually. I think we're right at the start of my Hoya becoming happy again, but this has not... Ooh. Why is there another Hoya leaf? Oh, that's from another plant. Aw, in the process of getting the plants here, that must have died off. Whoops. So we have this one and we have this one, which is actually... Can I place this without falling over? Maybe. Which is actually looking super cute. This is such a beautiful plant. Here's some new baby leaves, 2 big original leaves. I guess this was one of the cuttings that did make it. Although the new growth, can you see this little stem here? That is now browning. So that's not great. But there's another growth point here, actually. These are 2 separate growth points. So this overall, I am super happy that this plant made it because I love the shape of it. It's not the typical finlaysoni shape, I would say. Either way, I love it a lot. So I'm glad I have 2. They both get to stay in my collection. Because actually, I'm getting rid of some plants while we're filming this. I actually just found another one So I guess many of these cuttings rooted. There are 2 in this pot. See the new growth there? This one has grown quite a few new leaves. So this one is doing really well. I didn't realize I have 3 of the same. Look at that. It's beautiful. And this might be well, the other one was also doing well. But yeah, this has a lot of life in it, it seems. I am happy. This is a combination pot of Hoya Nong Nooch and Hoya Crassipetiolata Splash. And the Crassipetiolata looks pretty good actually. It's growing new leaves, even though they look very wonky and they're very sticky from the mealybugs. Also, the new growth has dried out, unfortunately, although these leaves still look viable. The Crassipetiolata Splash has actually been doing surprisingly well. It grew back a bunch, and actually I see new growth down here. There's a lot of mealybugs on it, which will be the case with many of my plants because, as I said in the goals video, if you haven't watched that, I have been pretty overwhelmed with my collection and not been taking the best care of them. But we're working on it. That's also why I'm getting rid of some. Here you can see a mealybug, a fluff of mealybugs probably. But yeah, it's growing. I don't necessarily want to keep it, but it's alive. Actually, it's beautiful once it looks beautiful. Like, look at this leaf. Maybe it gets to stay a little bit longer because that sparks joy to me. The Nong Nooch is a different story. Oh, there we go. That is what I was gonna show you. The stem is fully dried out and you can see it being quite wobbly in the pot as well. I don't think this has any roots left. I think this is dead. I mean, it just broke off. This is all dried out. I don't think I can rescue this. I could pull it out the pot to make sure that the Crassipetiolata Splash is a little bit happier. There's no rotting roots inside. But I think I'm just gonna leave it. And yeah, because maybe I can pull it out. Okay, I was not planning to do the actual plant care. My boyfriend just vacuum cleaned yesterday. Okay, stop. Abort. I have a Hoya Nong Nooch in the terrarium growing, but I don't think that's very happy either. So maybe this is no longer in my collection at the end of the video. Unfortunately, the Nong Nooch that was in here didn't make it back. Let's do one that's not as bad. This is the variegated Hoya Maggie. Acuta, I think. It doesn't look amazing, but also it doesn't look bad. Like, the growth point looks a little bit like it has some flat mite damage, but in general, a little bit dehydrated. I just will water this because my watering schedule has also been very irregular. Finally, some good news. The Acuta variegata is looking so cute. It grew quite a few leaves, also quite a few mealybugs on there. That's okay. Look at it. By the way, it's super gloomy, so I have a light on. I hope you are able to see. It all looks a little bit orangey this way, but ah well. It is what it is. I love how much white there is on this variegation. Sometimes you just get a little sliver in the center. This is almost fully white. I just have to remove all the mealybugs on it, and then it's gonna be good. The only thing I struggle with actually is that this pot keeps falling over because it's so top heavy to one side. Maybe I should give it a heavier outer pot, which some of you have suggested for my moss poles as well. If you put a heavier thing on the outside, it's less likely to topple over. Then we have this beautiful Finlaysoni EPC774 that I got from Osa in Sweden. It only has one leaf left. All the other leaves fell off. This tendril looks pretty actually at the top it looks okay. At the bottom it looks quite dehydrated. And of course all the leaves fell off, so I'm a little bit worried that it doesn't have any roots anymore. Why am I making this video? It's very depressing. The Finlaysoni EPC774 is just this leaf. I actually think maybe I can throw this away because I guess there is, I don't know. I'm trying to pull it out to show you. There is a growth point with Hoya. Okay, how can I explain this? You have a stem, two leaves come out at the same point. And in each armpit, as I like to call it, there is an eye that can grow new growth. So on both sides, right? Every node has 2 growth points. But this one, it looks like on the growth point in this eye of the leaf that's still there, it already tried to grow and then died back. So that means that this eye now can't grow anymore. And the other side is fully rotted already from where it grew before and where it died. So I think this is just, maybe the leaf will survive quite a long time, but I don't think it will ever grow again. That's just my theory at the moment. It's also very dusty. I should have cleaned all my leaves before I filmed this, but I didn't. I have been sick. If you're wondering why I sound so snotty, I'm still sick, but getting better. I wonder how it's gonna go with me talking so much to camera, but we'll see. I don't know. What do you think? Should I keep trying or should I let it go gently into the night? Why am I making this video? It's very depressing. I guess to make you feel less bad about your sad plants. I hope it helps. This is a Hoya curtisi that is dried out a lot. I think it also has some pest issues. Also with these small pots, they of course dry out a lot quicker than the bigger pots. So I think they just mainly struggled with me not watering regularly enough. Maggie! Funny how the curtisi looks exactly the same as almost a year ago. I don't think this has been happy. There is a dead leaf, but it might be from a different plant actually. This doesn't look like a curtisi leaf. I don't know what this issue has been. I see some dead growth, but that might have been on there when I filmed the first part of this. It might be flat mite issues as well, where it's trying to grow, but it can't really come out. This growth point still looks okay. The one and only. Also, this doesn't really make me happy, so I haven't been giving it a lot of attention, but it is beautiful when you look up close to the leaves. I definitely see why I got it, why I loved it. It's also a little bit sun-stressed from my grow light. It's just beautiful. It just doesn't grow. Then there's this pot. This is a combination pot. It's actually not too bad. Some of these are growing. There is Hoya variegata in here. And I think this is the regular Hoya. And then over on this side, we have species affinity Bertoniae, I want to say. But a lot of growth here is dried out. And this is a very good example of what flat mites do to your Hoya. The plant is trying to grow, but then the flat mites eat the new growth and it keeps trying and it keeps being eaten. So it looks a little bit wonky and like misshapen stem. There's another piece here as well that has the same issue. So this has definitely been struggling with flat mites. This is the combi pot now. I actually noticed one of the leaves that I broke off is new growth on here, so I guess it is still alive. The variegata is gone from it. Maybe I pulled that out to give to a friend. There's lots of dead leaves. I don't know exactly. It doesn't look amazing. It's in the kitchen, so it doesn't get a lot of light. Normally, I don't know. This just stays the same. Maybe I should put it underneath a grow light, and if it doesn't grow there, then I'll get rid of it, because this is a beautiful plant when it does grow. Maybe I should give it a separate little pot. This was actually the plant that got me in love with Hoya. I didn't like Hoya until December 2019. Then I walked into a greenhouse full of Hoya and I saw this one, especially when it gets sun-stressed. The round-shaped leaves get purple and orangey and pink like a rainbow. So it made me take back my words. I do like Hoya, and I've liked Hoya ever since. So I'll give this one more chance and a little bit better care, and then we'll decide. Why do I keep pulling this face like, If you do a drinking game, for every time I pull a face, you'll be drunk by the end of the video, if you're interested in that. This tequila sunrise I got from Osa in Sweden as well, and it doesn't look as bad. I'm trying to show you the leaves a little bit better. It still has quite a lot of leaves in general. It's a little bit sun-stressed, but that's, of course, fine. I think it dropped one leaf over here, and then the tendril itself dried out at the tip, but this is not too bad, actually. Huh, thank you. That's nice. I should dust off the leaves also, but... Tequila Sunrise is one of the ones that does look quite nice right now, because we have the original plant down here. I think this leaf is new. Look at it, beautiful. It's very shimmery. The shininess is from the mealybugs that put their, what is it called? Their juices. Honey, dew? I don't know. Something sweet, nectary. They excrete, and that is what attracts ants as well. And ants can actually farm mealybugs because of this sweet nectar stuff. But it makes my leaves look dirty. So maybe I should spray them down. There's 2 growth points. This I think is the old one, the old tendril. And this is a newer one that looks happy and healthy until the end. And there is a peduncle. Was this on here already? I don't know. Maybe when I'm editing, I'm like, yeah, that was there already. And it hasn't grown anything. We will see. But I still like it. It's one of the only ones that still looks nice. But I think I can make this look cool again once I give the Hoya better attention. Next we have my Hoya Callistophila. This one was very wobbly, so I just let the tendril instead of having it up. It looks okay. The stem is a bit dried out there, especially at the end here. This looks pretty bad in terms of the stem, but it still has a ton of leaves compared to some of the other plants. So again, I'm just gonna keep an eye on this and maybe clean the leaves when I have some time. And yeah, maybe I'll cut these stems off. Maybe I can try and propagate this baby because that stem still looks nice and hydrated. This back part is very dead. The Callistophila also looks pretty cool. The only, ooh, it actually has flowers budding up. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. The only thing I don't like about this plant is that it is so wobbly, it will not stay up. It is always falling over. I almost have to tie it to my shelves. But look, we have some new leaves. This was already on it when I showed you last time. And this one too. This is more traditional looking Callistophila leaves, I feel like. But it grew this one, which is a lot darker. Might have to do with the light situation. It also grew from a different point. Can I show you? This weird misshapen leaf. I think that has something to do with pests. There's a lot of pests on it. Maybe it also got stuck on the other leaves. Down here we have some very shiny, it doesn't want to focus on it, but very shiny mealybug leaves. And this is huge as well. Look at that. It's a very cool looking leaf. I feel like it's getting even darker now. I hope you're able to see still. You can even see the shade now from the extra light, which is supposed to be the supplemental light, but now it's the main light. Wait, how can I show you these buds? Back here, there are 2 peduncles, and one of them is budding up here as well. Maybe that one's budding up also. This one is the one I meant to show you. We might get some flowers this year. I've had this plant flower before. The flowers are not super impressive, as in the colors or the shape, it's quite small, but it is pretty cool to get any Hoya to flower. So I'm happy with this one, even though it's always falling over. That's the only criticism I have. Stop falling over. But I might just have to give it a better pot. Most of these live on a little drip tray, so I don't have outer pots on them. This one would definitely benefit from a very strong, like this, solid, beautiful outer pot. But I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I see new growth on this one. So I have 2 Hoya Waieti variegata pots because I had to restart mine a while ago and then I had so many cuttings. But this one is actually growing quite a lot. There's a new tendril over here and new leaves and new growth here. Oh, look at all the baby leaves and here as well. So that's pretty good, even though it does also show a lot of signs of pests. These paper thingies is how I put the good mealybug catchers on here. They actually then don't stay on the paper, so I can take the paper off. Here you can see one. So this one is actually pretty good. This one is not showing signs of growth like the other one. But it's also not super bad. I see some dried points, some dried new growth, and probably some, hey, is that a peduncle? And probably some flat mite issues as well, or maybe just thirstiness because of my lack of watering. This is in a see-through pot in Semi-Hydro by Soil Ninja. The Hoya Waieti variegated look nice still. I've kept them in a box with good bugs because I had a lot of mealybugs and I was a little bit sick of treating them. But being in the box was not necessarily good for the Hoya because the higher humidity. I had it without a lid the last few weeks, months, but still there are some leaves that are, can you see this one? Just, I don't know what to call it, like fully dead and saturated. I don't know. Also, I don't see the nice red that you get with more light because the box was not near my grow light. I don't know what to do with these. I have so much of it. When it's growing well, it's super nice. But I don't know. Always the mealybugs. It just feels like a little bit of a problem child. But maybe it will get really nice again. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Should I keep it? Should I throw it away? I wouldn't throw it away. It's nice. But maybe I can give them away. Let me know what you would do with these. This Hoya flagellata reminds me a lot of a Hoya caudata in leaf look with the shimmeriness and the, I don't know, the matte look, almost like a dusty look. The flowers are beautiful, and this is still pretty full, although there is some dead leaves in here. A lot of the new tendrils dried out here, so that's not great. But I think with more consistent watering, because this is very dry, I can feel it, it should be okay. Flagellata has been growing. I do think some of the stems died, but we have some really nice leaves. Look at this. When they get sun stress, they get a little bit more red, and I love this one. I also had it flower, I don't know, probably not this year, but the flowers are adorable as well. And I don't know, I just really like this plant, even though I completely ignore it and haven't repotted it. It's still in the same little pot. It's still in the same outer pot. I just water it every now and then and tie up the branches when needed. I don't know why, but this is just a beautiful plant. It's pretty satisfying to see. What do you think? There is mealybug issues, but it's fine. I'm gonna treat them or ignore them. I don't know yet. Are you getting depressed yet from how sad all these plants are doing? This is my big Hoya fungi, the real one. And it's also very dusty because everything in the house is very dusty. Look at this big leaf though. That's pretty cool. This one grew very fast for a long time, but not since the renovation. There is mealybug right on the end there. A big fat mama. And some growth that looks a little bit like struggling, so probably some flat mite issues. I actually have, I think, another plant of this one that's growing, in the greenhouse. Yeah. So I don't mind as much if this one is not doing well, but I will just try and make my care a little bit more consistent, like with all the other ones, and hope that it perks up. For Hoya fungi, I might have to move you back a little bit because it is so big. I don't know though. This is one of the ones where I'm definitely thinking of getting rid of it. There is a lot of pest damage on some of the leaves. It's so big, but it doesn't bring me a lot of joy anymore. It did for a long time. I love this plant, but right now it just takes up a lot of space and I don't give it enough attention. It's pretty dry. I don't know. I think this is a definite no for me. So this is the last time we're going to show it to you. I got this for my birthday many years ago from an online friend that became a real friend, Sandra. It was so sweet to receive a package on my birthday with quite a few really nice Hoya in it. And it grew really well. I don't know. It just is a sweet memory. But the plant itself, I'll keep the memory forever. But I think the plant that was connected to it can go. Sorry, fungi. One that is doing pretty well is Hoya viola. This is a new leaf and actually a whole new tendril over here. And this is also new growth, although it's a little bit damaged. So this is one of the plants that showed signs of thrips damage. This is a leaf that maybe you can see it on. It's a little bit harder to tell than on arrowhead leaves because the leaves are more thick. But other than the pest issues, it is growing pretty well. So I'm happy with this one. It's always been an easy one for me It's always grown well. I don't know what this is about. Tiny little leaf on the end of a bare tendril. But this is pretty good. I'm happy with that. Hoya viola has been growing quite a few new leaves over here and just all over really. It's become very wide and many of the leaves are a little bit damaged. Oops, sorry, I'm hitting the microphone because this plant doesn't have enough space in my care. So like this new little, ooh, this leaf is so sticky. Oh my gosh, covered in the nectary bits. All the leaves are a little bit misshapen. Here's one that's really misshapen. It's just growing around the corner because it was stuck against a tendril. I need to wash my hands after holding this one. This one is also going to go. I don't know, it's the same as the fungi. It takes up a lot of space. It is beautiful, but a little bit understated. And there are other plants like the flagellata that just bring me more joy and that grow in an easier way, more compact, less sticky. So one more moment of appreciation for Hoya viola. It's cool. It's such a cool plant. It's getting too big. And the funny thing is Jane Perrone from the On the Ledge podcast, she laughed at us years ago, like beginning of 2020. She saw me and many others getting all these Hoya cuttings, so many Hoya cuttings. And she was laughing like, guys, these are going to grow really big, all of them. And your house is going to be overflowing with Hoya. And that's okay for me. I've enjoyed seeing them grow. And I'm also fine with letting them go again once they don't fit me anymore or my house or whatever, my collection. So Hoya viola, thank you so much. And hopefully we'll make someone else happy. I don't know exactly how because this will need a proper spray down before we give it to anyone else. But goodbye. Speaking of being happy with a plant, this is Ollie, my Hoya obovata that is very dusty. Wow. Okay. That was a lot of dust. And this one is growing. Yeah, from several points. I just noticed this growth point here as well, but the main one over here is also growing nicely. So this one is great. I love Ollie. He's one of my first nice Hoya. I see some more growth points on it. So yay. Ollie is giving me some hope for my Hoya future. Ollie the obovata lives upstairs, so here he is. He has grown quite a lot. I don't know if it comes across. Here's a new leaf. Oh, it's really dusty though. I just breathed out and I saw a cloud of dust going. That's not great. But look at this new tendril. He's trying to climb the ceiling. It all looks very healthy. There's peduncles on it. I hope it's gonna grow new leaves on there soon. There's just leaves from all over. I definitely have to clean. This is so dusty. Oh my gosh. But look, it's such a pretty leaf. I love that it's darker again because previously in my south-facing window it was kind of getting blown out. But the new leaves are beautiful and tendrils all around. I might have to loop this one because that's really long. And it's still in the same inner pot. I might have to repot this in spring somehow because I actually had quite a few of my older Hoya just they had their roots die completely, which I don't know exactly why that happened, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it and do stuff in spring probably. Then one that has gone very, very bad. This was one of my nicest, biggest Hoya. This is Hoya latifolia pot of gold, the inner variegated, previously known as macrophylla. This was one of the first plants I noticed at my brother-in-law's house that it was dropping a ton of leaves. And even though it still has quite a few leaves, you can see that they are very, can you see that? They're not succulent at all. They're very dehydrated, even though they don't look that bad. This whole part was full of leaves as well, and they all dropped off. You can see here how bad the base of the stems look. This one struggled with flat mites in a previous life as well. Can you see the... Oh, I just tried to bend this away so that the camera can focus, and this main stem for this whole branch is actually just nothing. So that is likely why it looks so bad. I'm actually going to take this off. Oh, look at this. This is just falling off. Wow, that's very dead. So we're going to try and take some more cuttings. I already took cuttings from this, but I think from here up, it's still a solid stem. So I can try and make some more cuttings. I guess when it doesn't get any moisture, any care, then of course it's going to rot and oh, it's collapsing as we speak. Look at this. This was the stem providing all the nutrients and water to the plant. That's not great, but I have cuttings of this one, so we have a backup. I took them right away as I saw the leaves starting to fall, and I'm gonna take some more. For the pot of gold, I actually filmed a little update in another video. This is a last-ditch effort to save my big pot of gold. Can you see the tiny roots here? But look, the mama plant has grown new leaves very recently. They're still very, very small, but I'm so happy that one at least is growing again and alive. As you could see back then, the mother plant was growing, and it is the only one that I have now, but it is definitely still really growing. Look at all of these new leaves. This needs a tendril trellis. I always confuse those two words. This is a tendril and it needs a trellis. So there are a bunch of new leaves on this one. Really nice variegation as well. Also a lot of pest damage on this, but that's okay. And another growth point here. And we have a new little baby leaf over here. So some mealybugs also, but part of the process, right? Can you see that? So I am really, really happy that this is back because this is such a stunning one. It is easy to grow and ignore. And I'm happy. This is definitely one of the best comeback stories of, maybe I should film a reel about it, because it was fully dead. And now it's alive again. This Hoya here, you actually have to come a little bit closer. There we go. This is Hoya Thomsoni with quite a lot of splash and light pink flowers. This one is a little bit thirsty, but that's just because I need to water the plants. It has lots of growth. Actually, it's looking pretty good, I think, for having survived the renovation. It has mealybug issues, but it's had that for a while, and we're working on that. Oh my gosh, friends, it's getting so dark. I'm gonna film the rest of this tomorrow, but here is the Thomsoni splash update. This one also had a lot of mealybug issues, so I had it in the box with the Wayeti, and it's definitely got a lot of leaves that are falling off because of that. The high humidity was not ideal for it. The whole floor is covered in Thomsoni leaves, or well, not covered. There's a bunch of leaves on the ground, but it is still alive, which means we can still grow it out and make it look happy again. Because this is such a stunning plant. It grew so fast, but also I've really disliked treating for pests while I was trying to just water the plants even. I didn't have energy to water most of the weeks, so we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely keeping it, but I might need to change something in the setting because there's a lot of... Ooh, there's new growth! Wait, there's a lot of growth. I was gonna say a lot of ugly leaves, but look, we have a little new growth with a little leaf and a little tendril. Okay, that made my heart happy just now. Okay, good job, buddy. The rest of the updates, I might look a little bit different. Hopefully the light is a little bit better. So, yay. Most of the Hoyas I just showed you live on these shelves. Now let's look in my big terrarium to see what Hoyas are in there. They're actually doing not so bad. And I'll be filming that on my phone because unfortunately this camera lens cannot focus inside the terrarium where it's a little bit dark.
Somehow I cannot find that phone footage anymore, but I found some footage from days afterwards.
There's definitely a few dead plants here. We can take this out actually. This was a Hoya. This Hoya also is no longer with us. Come on out. I think it dried up too much in the wall.
This I think is a Hoya peninsularis that actually looks pretty good here.
And there's a Hoya curtisi that's still alive and growing all over the place. A Hoya viola cutting back here that hasn't done anything in years. Hoya elliptica lives here that grew a tendril, but then it didn't do anything. Probably to do with the flat mites and the thrips and everything. And also maybe it getting too dry here in this little moss blob.
And lastly, check out this beautiful Hoya Gunungading that is growing all over the back here. It actually is one of the best looking Hoya that I've seen in the terrarium. It's growing from different places, new growth here. At the top there is even a new adorable little leaf. This seems to be thriving in the terrarium compared to all the other ones that I removed and are dead. In the big terrarium, you might spot some differences behind it too, but I'm showing that in a renovation video. Let's see, there's only a few left. Look at how big this blue plant has grown. In the back here, the Hoya curtisi looks exactly the same, I feel like. It's growing in the back there. The other ones that were here died, I removed them. On the other side, where it's very full right now with huge plants, we have the Gunungading still. You can see the leaves that I showed you before here. There are leaves here. And it's a little bit hard because my hand is blocking the light, but here is the last tendril and the leaf that was unfurling when I last filmed. Is it? Then it hasn't grown anything since then. Okay, interesting.
Back in our small little room with Fluffy Maggie. There's only a few plants left here. Oh, hello everyone. Okay, go. A few are in this isolation box with some good bugs against scale that it needed desperately. Maybe I filmed the inside of this box on my phone as well, or maybe I just ignored all these plants, but let me quickly tell you what's inside because these were some great ones. First, my Hoya Michaela splash that you see here. Hello, it is the next day. I have more light, hopefully. I have slightly different makeup on, but I'm ready to show you Hoya Michaela because this guy has grown so much. We have lots of leaves. The splash has changed a little bit. It's not as splashy as the original leaf was. Why is this not focusing? The sun is coming out, which is insane. I love it, but it's also harder for filming. Oh, not enough light, too much light. Look at these. This one has nice splash. Whoa. Whoa, look at that. So I'm so happy with Hoya Michaela. It's actually making a new tendril even here. See? Very cool. I repotted this, I think, into a slightly bigger pot, and it's doing great. I love it so much. And all the big leaves that you see is my Hoya Meredithy GPS 1105. This is the, what? I forgot the name. Meredithy mother plant. It likes it up here, I feel like. It's grown a lot of new leaves. And this is just the mother plant. I'm going to show you one more that I took of the cuttings. This one is also super dusty. I don't know if I can show you, but this definitely needs a clean. And you can also see the mini scale that I have. Whoa. Did you see that? I hope it comes across. It's really bad. But there's also mini scale. The little tiny bits are a tropical kind of scale. Oh, this leaf is also, the dust is so bad. Oh, I think because our house is so old, it just gets dusty very quickly. Not ideal. But look at how big this is. This is looking amazing. It got a few new growth points from lower down. There's also a scale, another kind of scale. Two types of scale on this one. That's nice. I'm gonna remove this and treat it quickly after filming. I actually had this flower. I'm trying to remember what I wanted to tell you. Here, oh, the peduncle in the sunlight, you can't see anything. But it was amazing. I love it so much, and I think it's gonna do it again because there's a little peduncle here as well. It's just, oh my gosh, I'm gonna show you my shirt in a second. It's one of my favorites, absolutely. And the cuttings look amazing too. But first I want to show you, can you see all the dust on my shirt? I don't know if it comes across. Let me show you the plant that I have downstairs in the kitchen. These are the Meredithy cuttings that I took. There are 4 in this pot, and it seems some of them are not really growing. This one is definitely having our common issue of flat mites, and one of those down there as well. But some of them have definitely been growing. This was a very bare pot, and now it's toppling over from the big leaves. I think I need to give it a better spot, maybe not on the attic where it lives now. Look at all the beautiful leaves. Oh, I can't even speak anymore apparently. but I'm very happy. This looks so bushy and full as well compared to the original plant. Maybe I should put them all together, and then we have a really nice bushy one. There's even 2 tendrils up here that have grown. And I think this also needs a little treatment for that stupid scale because I see it on some of the leaves. It's hard to show you because it's right in the center here, but this is gonna get treatment today.
I can't really see what else is in there, but I'm going to show you all the Hoya that I own right now at the end of the video, so don't worry.
Then there's a few Hoya in this corner. I'm not going to lift this one up. This is my situation to rescue my Hoya linearis. It had root rot, so I cut all the bases off and I'm trying to reroot them in water.
My linearis lives upstairs as well. And this is it. It's still quite long. I'm actually happy with this because it struggled so much before. It's making new little growths. I think one of the main things with linearis is to have light at the top so that the stems get light here and continue growing and being happy at the top. Because my previous one didn't have light at the top. It was growing great down here, but all the top stems died off. So then everything died off and I had to restart the whole plant. This flowered in 4 different places for me just last month and is doing well. I do see some stickiness from mealybug. Ooh, I see some mealybug nests over here. No idea if my camera will focus on it, but I will treat this as well. I guess this is film and treat today and yesterday and probably tomorrow as well. But it's doing great. I love it.
Ooh, this also definitely needs some water. These are my Hoya carii propagations and they've rooted really nicely. But the roots are now above the water line, so that's why I really need to replace the water.
This is a bit of a sad update. Of all my carii cuttings, only this little pot survived, and this is struggling as well. I think it had flood mite issues also. So we have like 3 tiny leaves and no happy growth points. I don't know if you can see, but those growth points are all dead. This is such a stunning plant. I really hope I can regrow it. I was thinking maybe I should cut this top leaf off and reroot it and see if I can bring it back that way. Because, they're so cool. The shape is so cool. It reminds me of a miniature Terrarium almost. So I really hope I can bring it back.
And then lastly, in this corner, we have, my beautiful Hoya clemensiorum. Can you see it? Is it focusing? I don't know. This one also grew actually a new leaf during the renovation. I think it was this one. Look at that. So shiny. And because the tendril didn't have any leaves for a long time, I looped it around like this. And here at the top of the tendril, where is it? Yes. There is one possible new leaf coming. And this is a very happy, alive tendril. So this one is awesome. It's doing great. Maybe I should move that to a spot with more light actually, so that it starts to grow again.
Hoya clemensiorum. This I love so much. It is doing okay. It's grown a few leaves. I think a lot of them look a little bit bad. I think maybe it's getting too much light. It's getting a little bit of damage. But yeah, it's messy. It's chaotic. It looks like it lived in the jungle and got beaten up. But that's, I think, part of clemensiorum. I think these 2 leaves are new at the top here. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Thumbnail. And I think this one is new too. Just this tendril did really well. And it had another growth point at the bottom here, but that hasn't done anything since. I think it grew this leaf that I showed you previously. So it's not grown a lot. If you're not used to Hoya, this might seem very slow, like most of them can seem very slow growing, but they go in phases, I feel like. So no growth for a while, and then new tendril, new leaves, and then nothing for a while again. So I am happy with that. I'm not complaining. Maybe I should move it to less light though. I don't know. We'll think about it.
And then here above the bed, I have 2 more Hoya. This is my Hoya carii, my main mother plant. And as you can see here, there is a ton of new leaves on it. This is new. Here's 2 new leaves. Here is two tiny new leaves and tendrils that look very happy. This is doing great.
This is what's left of the Kari mother plant. Just one leaf, a few stems that are looking pretty dead, and a growth point where it is trying to grow, but not succeeding yet. I wonder if these roots are even still alive, but I don't know if that should be a spring thing to do. At least I have the other one where there's still potential to grow. Usually with Hoya cuttings, you have the best chance if you have one leaf at least. You can grow them from a stem, but it takes a lot longer. If I were to cut this, it might root, but it will take a lot longer and it might not grow at all. I have been able to do it, but it's a lot easier with a leaf. And this leaf is down there already. So that's why the cutting that I showed you before has more of a chance. There's a leaf and a stem to restart it.
This is my Hoya Gunungadung mother plant. This, I think, maybe all the plants that did stay with me are the ones that are doing well. Which is interesting because I thought they would struggle a lot here, and also there was no space to keep all of them here. It has a nice long new tendril that I gave a little pole. It's all the way up to the top, very green and happy looking. And right here, it has a peduncle and some new leaves starting to grow as well. I love this plant so much. I'm so happy that this did okay because I still think it's one of the most stunning, beautiful Hoya there is, with the sun stress and the leaf pattern, what do you call it, like the veins. I love this one, so it's doing well.
I had to chop up my Hoya Gunungadung as well because there were no roots left in the pot, but those cuttings did so well. They started growing really quickly, and now I have 2 full pots. I did notice on this pot, I was like, why is there little, I don't know if you can see the little white dots on the leaf? And I have been struggling a lot with aphids at the moment, which is not something I would think I would ever say, but these are aphid skeletons. So if you ever see this, it's best to investigate because they change skins like snakes and stuff. I don't know how to explain that. That's not the right way, but they leave behind little exoskeletons, if I'm remembering that correctly. And then I looked up here, and on the top, there is a bunch of aphids and also a mealybug. I guess they're all friends hanging out. So we are treating this plant. It lives on the attic, so I didn't see it before. But it's definitely grown a lot, and I love how the leaves look. There's no sun stress at the moment because it was living on I have a little attic with a north-facing skylight. So the leaves are just green. But look at that pattern. It's really almost like it's printed on there. It's very unique looking. Any Hoya lover will tell you right away when they see a Gunungading, even though officially we cannot ID plants just from the leaves, but we can say it looks a lot like Gunungading. So this is the other one. This has grown, look at this, there's leaves coming from all sides. This is, I think, one of the original leaves with the sun stress, and then it grew this leaf. There are, I think, 4 cuttings in this pot as well, but it looks so full. You can see the new leaves popping out all over. This little tendril on this side. I tried to tie up the tendrils a little bit because they were getting really long and dangly. But look, new leaves, new leaves, new leaves. This is all new after it died back. And there's a tendril all the way to the top here. So I was really sad watching this video back. It looked so nice. And then I realized it was not doing well. Also, it's very dusty. All my plants are very dusty. I should get one of those gloves where you clean off the leaves because that's gross, but it's fine. I will do that at some point. I'll make a video, clean my leaves like Nicole's videos. I'm really happy it grew so well. It really had life in it. Like that first Finlaysoni that I showed you, the cuttings just want to live, it feels like. Amazing.
Now let's look at my small terrarium. If you're wondering why I look so different, I actually already had a nap, went grocery shopping, all the things. I completely forgot to film these Hoya. Whoops. And I hit my head a few days ago. My skull is a little bit bruised, so I put some arnica on. I don't know if you know arnica, but it's a homeopathic cream thing that helps against bruising. That's why I look a little bit less professional, but let's look at the Hoya because they're looking pretty good actually. Let me start with one of the sad ones first. I didn't realize it was this bad. This is my Hoya Bella Lida Buis, the inner variegated plant, or this was, I should say. All of them didn't make it. Oh, that's really sad. That one I really want back in my collection. I have... Oh, it's rooted. I have one piece left. It's a very, very small piece, but apparently it has rooted, so maybe there's hope for it still. Otherwise, I'm gonna be on the lookout for this one again. Aww, I've had that for years. It was growing so well before.
For the Lida Buis, it still looks the same. We still have the 2 leaves, although I don't think it's rooted anymore. And that's it. I am so sad about this. My little baby.
Then we have this stunning, I love this one, Clemensiorum that I got from Mout. I love this one so much. I bought it at a market. It had 2 growth points because there were 2 nodes, one under the soil. So I cut it and replanted both of them in the same pot. One of them died, the other one's new leaves died off, and it never grew again. So that was very, very stupid. Don't do that with a new plant. Let it settle, let it grow for a little bit, and then start to maybe propagate. Because this is so beautiful. I don't think it's going to grow again. But we're going to keep it in the terrarium and hope.
I guess we're still hoping. This plant still looks exactly the same. There is no growth. It is definitely trying still, but meh, it's not working. I think this is also a flat mites issue. And maybe by now the nodes, the eyes have finished trying. I don't know if it will still be able to. I'm not throwing it away because the leaf still looks really nice. I mean, that's a stunning leaf, right? If you like creepy dead looking Hoya like me. So we're still hoping a year later.
Then we have Hoya Burmanica. This one, actually I propagated this before and it went really well. And then I propagated it again for a video and all of them died. So I just have this mother plant. Ooh, I do see some growth on there, I think. Mother plant left? No, it's not growth. But there is 6 leaves, so that means there is several nodes. 4, I think, because there's one down here as well. So there is still hope for this plant. It didn't go well. I had this continue growing while I moved it back here from Sweden. And then I even had it flower while it didn't have any roots. It continued to flower. So I don't know what I did wrong now. I don't think it liked moving somewhere else for a while, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I don't own Burmanica anymore. It was struggling so much. It either died in that box that I showed you, or I threw it away because there was no saving it, unfortunately. And I had it flower right away when I got it, so I guess it's a check on my list. I don't know, that sounds weird. But it was just too hard to keep trying. Sorry, Burmanica.
Another one that I propagated that didn't go well, this is Hoya Waimanie. This is such a cool Hoya that I don't think many people know about. It's really fuzzy. The leaves are beautiful round shape, and then if they get a little bit more sun, they get a pattern on them in the sun stress, which I actually like it less with the pattern, so mine get a little bit less light. I propagated this because it didn't have any roots left, and now I have all these cuttings. It looks kind of, I don't know, weird, and none of them are growing yet. I don't know. Maybe it's flat mites, because I do see some growth points, but maybe I just have to wait for spring as well, because of course it is still winter here. It's 20th of February as I'm filming this. So, yeah.
Not still winter.
It's still winter.
It's the spring.
It's not the spring, darling.
There's going to be lots of sunshine.
Sunshine, yes, but still cold also.
Waimanie still looks adorable. I still love it. But I think maybe it's grown 1 or 2 leaves since I filmed last. And I've definitely pulled out a few branches that have dried and died. Died and dried, both of them. So I think that's my care mostly. But look at these adorable little leaves. Oh, sorry, Mike. I don't know why not more people love it. I love it, except it's not growing. Definitely blaming this on the flat mites too, because it's been struggling a lot. That's why I have them up here. I don't look at them very often, and they get to stay in my collection for now.
Then there's this one. This is Hoya peninsularis, previously known as species Perak teddy bear. that also didn't have any roots. I had to restart most of the Hoya in my terrarium. The cuttings took forever to do something. Also, it struggled with flat mites, so that probably didn't help. And I think it grew this leaf new. And there is a little tendril here as well. That looks really good. The rest of it doesn't show any growth. There's just 2 cuttings in here. So
Snip it.
no. So I guess this part of the plant isn't growing yet, but maybe that's still coming. This is pretty dry. Maybe I should water it. And also, I'm feeling for a lot of them that the soil is very compact. So in spring, I'm gonna repot them and give them some more air to the roots. For now, I'm just gonna squeeze the pot a little bit so that the roots maybe have a little bit of better aeration.
My main pot of Peninsularis is doing pretty well. It also has flat mites issues. This is the story of today's video, I feel like. But it has grown a few new leaves. This one is quite small, but that's okay. I think both of these are new too, though I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but look at how beautiful that is. This is why I loved it. And I kind of lost the enjoyment of it. I don't know if I shared that in the previous video. Sorry, my nose is itchy. I'm still a little bit sick. I had these huge plants, the Peninsularis, the Vinci Borneo that you're going to see in a moment, the Gunungading, the Meredithy, that were doing so well, but the roots turned out to be completely dead. So I had to restart all of these plants. And for some it went really well, and for some not so much. These ones I do think have rooted. You can see actually happy roots in this pot. But the growth has been a little bit of an issue with the flat mites. But you can definitely see again. And when these leaves come out, I wanted to say I love these leaves. But when these come out, they're even more beautiful. They're kind of purpley and shimmery. And then they harden off into this. There's veins, there's splash, there's the kind of dead look that I love. So I'm very happy with this. I do have a few more propagations. Then we have this Peninsularis as well. This is a propagation I took back in, what does it say? May. And I think it's rooted. The leaf looks happy. Well, as happy as it did when I propagated it, which is not great, but you can see again, flat mite growth, where it's just trying but not coming out in a beautiful cappuccino cup by Piece of Clay. Oop, the sun is coming out. You can't see anything. But I still love this plant. I'm happy I have another one that does better. This is my last Peninsularis cutting. It has this leaf, which was new. This was living on my Hoya shelves, so it's a little bit more red. It's sun-stressed, as you can see here. So beautiful. The top, again, is not growing. I think flat mites. But this is what it can look like when you sun-stress it. Doesn't that just look so cool? I love Peninsularis, and I hope this year is the year for the Hoya. I feel like they're gonna come back. Fingers crossed.
This is Hoya Annekebuis. That is significantly bigger than my now dead Lidabuis. I got them at the same time, at the same size as well. And I've given cuttings and sold cuttings of this one. I even noticed on this behind here, there is a little peduncle there. So that seems to be doing really well. Again, the soil is a little bit compact, so I'm squeezing.
Annekebuis is no longer with me. It was struggling a lot with especially thrips. So I put it in a big box, and just like the other plants I showed you before, it got too moist or something, or not enough airflow, and it just died back completely. There's no material left.
2 more in here. Sorry for my boyfriend who keeps walking around.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry for your boyfriend.
Yeah,
Your boyfriend
he wants some attention.
is the best.
My boyfriend is the best. Yes. Then there is Hoya Svetlana that I also got from Åsa in Sweden. Åsa. Åsa. I love that name so much. Look at this beautiful leaf. So this I got as a 1-node cutting. This is the original leaf, I think. It grew 2 leaves for me, and there's a tendril that still looks okay. I think I'm going to tie this up against the pole so it has better support. But it looks good. I'm surprised that for this one, I heard it can be a little bit tricky because it's part Hoya Deikie, and that one is bitch. Hard to grow.
Svetlana is such a stunning plant. It has definitely had some issues. It did grow this leaf. There's some holes in it, but that's okay. And this whole tendril that loops around now. But it is struggling with a lot of things, I think. There's some probably flat mite issues. There's definitely, a lot of scale issues. The little light dots are the scale that I'm talking about. It's not a common one, so it's kind of hard to spot at first. It kind of looks just like damage on the leaf, which is what makes it so sneaky. And it's on the stem as well, and then you don't see it at all because it's the exact same color as the stem. So I'm gonna treat this as well as all the other plants, basically. Oh, it's gonna be a busy day, but at least I'm checking in on them. And maybe you want to see the flat mites damage. You've now seen this many times in my plants, but this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's just, it sucks. Flat mites suck. But at least it's alive.
Last one in here is Hoya Rinsey Borneo. This used to be my favorite Hoya, and then it struggled so much with flat mites that it looked horrible. And now it's finally looking beautiful again, although the light isn't ideal. But look at these leaves. They're kind of shimmery. Can you see that? And then they get pinkish or red with the sun stress. And the splash also gets pink here. Can you see that? It's grown quite a few. Actually, here's a lot of splash as well. Look at that. It seems to be growing a lot. This stayed here with me. This terrarium stayed here with me. So I really think that the ones that stayed with me are in much better shape than the ones that moved away. So that's no blame to my family, but apparently them being here was easier for me to take care of them in the chaos. I really hope to grow this into a full bushy plant. There's plenty of tendrils here, as you can see. I looped them around a little bit. And if you don't know, I use these against flat mites. This is an older one, so it's a bit harder to read, but they are the Swirsky mites by Koppert. I get them from Entocare, and they are supposed to help with flat mites. They've helped me through a situation before. Now they're a little bit back, but I haven't ever sprayed sulfur, and I have had definitely a lot of plants come back. Maybe you can see it here. This was all messed up growth, and then this one did come out in the end in a nice way. So I know you can do a lot more if you want. If you have time to do a lot more, you can. But for me, I didn't have time, and this is a very easy way. Just put the baggies in there and wait. Ah, so beautiful. Okay.
My Rinsey Borneo was so stunning when I filmed this. I'm actually really sad looking back because now we have this cutting and 2 more downstairs that I'll show you in a second. It just didn't have any roots and I had to restart it, and many of the cuttings didn't make it. So we have one leaf here, really old leaf, that is trying to grow. Once again, story of my Hoya experience right now, flat mites. But it looks like there's new growth that might make it through. This stem is dead, so I can cut that off when I do all the plant treatments that I'm going to do today. It's sad, but the other ones downstairs are doing a little bit better. My 2 other Rinsey Borneo cuttings, these leaves, they're so beautiful. See the color, the shimmer, and I was quite sad because these had not grown since I cut the plant up. You can see there are roots, so they are rooted. Both of them were trying to grow, but I noticed recently that both of them have a new growth that looks a little bit more promising, alive. So I really, really, really hope that I can bring this one back because we need this, right? We need this in the collection. If it doesn't come back, I will find it again, but I still have just little bits of material to work with, and I have hope, and we'll continue to hope until everything is gone, which we're not wishing for. We're wishing for it to survive and grow again and look amazing. I see some scale on here too, so we are treating that. Maybe on this one I can show you the little white grayish bits are all scale. So we are treating.
This is my beautiful Hoya. Wait, it's too light. Let's make it darker. This is Hoya Nicholsoniae New Guinea Ghost. It is a little bit dehydrated, but not too bad. I should water it probably and then it's fixed. And can you see how much growth is on here? This is definitely a plant that likes to survive. There's some new leaves here. There's a ton of tendrils. This was here with me upstairs as the renovation was going on, so it had quite a few cold dips in temperature, but it seems to not mind at all. And I think it's gonna be fine once I clean the leaves a little bit. Of course, some of the tendrils, can you see this is all yellow and this is green, so this stopped growing. This one is all dried out from here, so this is the dried out part and this is still green and happy. But it's grown quite a few leaves during the renovation, so I have no worries for this plant.
New Guinea Ghost has grown so much. Look at this. So many leaves. I took a bunch of cuttings as well for some friends who wanted this plant, but it is also covered in mealybugs right now. It's very sticky, and somehow I don't like it. It's not for me. It's gonna go in the giveaway or throw away, I don't know yet, bin. Or like maybe I'll make a giveaway. I think I said this on the previous footage as well, which I filmed yesterday, so I kind of forgot. Sorry. But I might make a box and then spray everything with like toxins, which I wouldn't use for my own plants. And then people can have no pests on the plants that they get from me. Because this, I don't know, it was amazing to get it when it was impossible to find from a friend, so generous. And then to grow it out from literally a leaf. I didn't have a stem anymore, but it grew from a leaf. It grew so much that I have a ton of cuttings in here. I restarted it and I have so many leaves once again. So a vigorous little plant. I'm so impressed with it, but it's not gonna stay with me. Sorry, buddy. I love you though. Thank you so much for everything.
Next we have this cool guy. This is Hoya insularis. Look at all the leaves. I got this as a small plant at the plant market a while ago, and the leaves are really cool shapes. This has struggled a little bit with mealybugs because the back of the leaves is perfect for mealybugs to hide in, but it has a whole tendril. A whole tendril over here with new leaves, and it's got a little new growth on the side there. Can you see it? So this is definitely doing well, and there is a second growth point here that looks okay as well. This is one of the ones that gives me a sigh of relief.
The insularis definitely doesn't look as nice as it did before. We have some dead leaves that I can throw out now. It didn't have many roots, so I replanted it into the semi-hydro to hopefully get some fresh roots. Another dead leaf. But it is still growing the tendril, and there's some growth at the end here. There's even a little peduncle on this one. It's very small, but I like it still. I hope it's gonna come back. It's a funky one. Oh, it's getting dark. Wait. Should we adjust the light? Yeah, I like it, but not doing amazing. Look at how cool this looks though. So it gets to stay for sure.
This is Hoya Thomsoni with pink flowers. If you don't know, there are several different Thomsoni. The normal one I feel like is white flowers, the one that most people have in cultivation. And funny enough, the one with pink flowers that I have actually looks quite different in leaf shape as well. So the leaves are more chunky, and also the hairs are very different. It's a little bit more fuzzy, more rough, like winter legs instead of summer legs, depending on what you prefer. This one is awesome because it flowered for me for the first time during the renovation. Let's see, here is where the peduncle was. The flowers were incredibly beautiful. They made me so happy to see them. And it's also growing a new tendril over there. It's got quite a few new fuzzy tendrils and leaves starting to emerge. So this has been really, really nice to have in my collection. Also with a beautiful pot from Natalie, piece of clay. This, yeah, that was a literal sigh of relief. Even though there's still, like, this piece is also dead, there's always gonna be some branches that die or that aren't happy, especially if this stayed here with me, so it got quite cold.
Hoya Thomsoni Pink is doing okay, doing well. I don't know. The leaves look so cool. It is, I haven't seen a new leaf in a while, I feel like, but it did flower for me in 2 different places just last month. So that's amazing. I love the shape of the leaves, and the hairiness is so different. Like I said before, it's a really cool one. It kind of looks dusty, which it also is dusty, but it also has that look. So this is maybe hard to clean because the dust gets stuck in the hairs. But there's roots, it's growing, it's flowering, so far so good. We're gonna continue this. The only one that's not doing well, I didn't show you that in the terrarium actually. I have the Hoya Thomsoni White is in the terrarium. I'm gonna go film that right now.
I guess because I lost the terrarium footage, I didn't realize, and I forget about it quite often because it lives here. In this little pot is my Thomsoni. Wait, I'm holding all of these leaves to the side with one arm while trying to film. Look, down here is a bunch. This is what white flowering Hoya Thomsoni looks like. The leaves are longer and the hairiness is different. I can't believe it's still growing so well in here because it's getting hardly any light because the other plants are getting so big. It's even growing a tendril up here that is stuck into the moss. Oh my gosh, it's coming out of the moss again too. Look, it's planted itself into the moss from the pot above and it's grown 2 new leaves. Wow, that's amazing. It's like down here, it's not light enough, buddy. Give me some more light. I think I'm gonna take a cutting of this down here and try and have it on my Hoya shelves so it gets more light and maybe we can get the white flowers because they're very, very cute. Especially now that the terrarium has collapsed a little bit. I will show you that in a future video. This is even further down and more. Look at these leaves. I'm just squishing them with my arm. Sorry. I'm very hopeful that I can fix it, but I have to do a whole new rebuild basically. But this is Hoya Thomsoni White flowering. And there too. This is amazing. Okay, I'm very impressed.
And then the last one is this, Hoya Huskilliana variegata. This one also stayed with me during the renovation. It actually looks really dehydrated. I should definitely water this plant and take off some of the papery things. It was during the renovation fully like this, white and green. And I knew it wasn't getting enough light, but it was surviving, so that was okay. And then as soon as I had my Hoya shelves back, I put it underneath the grow light again, and you can see immediately it has so much new growth that is all pink and cute. Look at that. That is what I love on Hoya Huskilliana. I'm so happy that this immediately went back to the beautiful pink with enough light that it's growing. Definitely needs water, so I'm gonna do that right after filming. Oh, and it's in a beautiful pot that kind of matches the colors, also from Natalie. These are just her coffee cups, I think, cappuccino cups, that I use as plant pots, because why not?
Hoya Huskilliana variegata lives here now. I thought it would be nice to hang her up here because she was so beautiful, but she actually lost all the pink growth again, and I don't think she's grown any new leaves. Maybe no, it was actually summer. So it was getting a lot of light, but maybe the grow lights give it something else that the sun cannot give. Does that make sense? I don't know. But I love this plant. It looks so pretty in this windowsill, in this piece of clay, light pink pot. I was hoping the pink would match with the pink of the plant, but there is no pink on that left. It looks happy though. I don't see many pests on it. I'm treating for flat mites just in case. The leaves are adorable. Look at that. So I'm very happy with this. I look at it every day. I work right behind here and I see this hanging. It's cute. It's adorable. I hope it gets some more pink again once spring and summer come back. And that's all the plants that I owned in February. I also realized while filming this that I actually got a lot of new Hoya this past year, even though they have been struggling. So the first batch of new ones that I got was from my friend Maud. She gave me a box at the My Botanica in Houten, and this is what was in it.
Hoya Piestolepis NS11092. Really dark. This is making me excited to grow more Hoya again.
I show an update on this plant in one of the chores videos that I posted. Hoya Piestolepis did really well after the repot. There is a new leaf growing here. There's 2 more baby leaves over here and a long tendril. So the Hoya Piestolepis keeps trying, I feel like, to grow, but the tendrils die. There's actually a dead tendril on the mic right now. Sorry. try and break that off. But there's quite a lot of mealybugs. I think there's probably also flat mites, to no surprise to anyone. It is still a beautiful plant, but it is not looking any different than it did when I got it in March. It's now January, so maybe it is looking different because this tendril was new, but then it died off again. So I think my neglect combined with possible pests is not the best care for this buddy, but maybe we can get it to grow more because the soft fuzzy leaves on the back are pretty cool. There's quite a few mealybugs on the backs of these leaves, so that's kind of funny. To look at from this side, you're getting the good side, the sticky leaves. But it's still alive, and I think it gets to stay still because it's fuzzy.
Hoya Natalie, which looks a little bit like the, what is that, black margin something?
This grew a few leaves. It even grew a little tendril, which is impressive with how hard that seems to be for some of the Hoya. I don't see any new leaves. Actually, the new leaves, some of them crisped up and died. They do that sometimes. They dry out or dry off. I don't know. But it's growing. It's not sparking joy for me. So I think this is gonna go. I just literally decided that right this second because I'm becoming more cutthroat with my decisions. I don't know. There are such cool Hoya in my collection that deserve the space, and I think this one can go to someone else who appreciates it more. I can be a little bit picky with my choices in plants, which is good for my house. Otherwise my house would be so full.
The variegated Bertoni, she sent me 3 huge cuttings that are all growing, top cuttings. Look at these adorable baby leaves.
Oh my gosh, I love this plant so much still, but unfortunately it was struggling a little bit with probably mealybugs, so I put it in that box with some of the other plants and it was not happy. It had some leaves die because of the higher humidity, less airflow. This is my assumption, but it is stunning, and I am going to definitely now move it back onto my Hoya shelves where it's going to get more light again and then hopefully grow that darker, you can see it a little bit here, the sun stress on the leaves again. But I love this. This is definitely staying with me. It's so cool. I'm so happy to have this.
Hoya obovata, inner variegated splash. So you can see a little bit of the variegation on the inside, and it has a growth point already, and it has a beautiful amount of splash.
Hoya obovata splash, variegata splash, blah, blah, too many words. I got it with just this leaf, and it has grown a lot. This leaf is new. These 2, oh look, these 2 leaves are new. This one has a little bit, tiny little bit of variegation on the inside. These have a little bit less, but I love the splash on it. And this is the newest leaf. Does it come across that this splash is actually pinkish, purplish? That's what happens if you give your Hoya obovatas with splash a lot of light. The stem is also quite pink, and there is another new baby leaf here. There's also some mealybugs, but that's okay. This I love so much. She also told me, I was just messaging with her a few days ago, she said the inner variegation can come back at any time. So not to worry that it doesn't have any right now because it can come back. I love it without as well. It would be cool to get a little bit more back, but I am just happy it is growing because some of these new ones that I got, very special new ones, are not growing at all. And this one is growing. I'm definitely removing the mealybugs after filming though.
Hoya bella lida buis. This is a very happy looking cutting. So that is amazing. And now I can restart. I'm so excited for this.
Hoya bella lida buis didn't make it. I'm really sad about this. She gave me such a beautiful cutting, but my Hoya shelves were kind of plagued with thrips as well as mealybugs and flat mites. And especially this plant, they seemed to like very much, the thrips. So I put it in an isolation box and there it just didn't do well. So the only lida buis I have now is that one with like 2 leaves and a tiny little stem from my original plant. But maybe they're affordable now. Maybe I can buy a new one at one of the markets this spring. Mickey is looking at me like, buying more plants, Mom? Really? Maybe, yes.
Hoya clemensiorum. This is much happier than how I kept mine. Very, very cool.
This stunning plant, it grew definitely, because look, it grew this leaf. I feel like this is the same plant. I'm not 100% sure. I have this as a cutting in water right now. It's rooted well. I actually took this cutting to make sure that I rescued this plant because, I don't know, I think it was struggling. Maybe it didn't have roots in the pot anymore, or that was my theory because I don't see many roots. So this, look at how big this leaf is also compared to the original leaves. Very, very cool and rooted well. It's not growing yet. It had a new leaf at the end here, but that didn't make it in. I mean, I kept it in water, which was a little bit dumb. So I'm going to pot this up, maybe together with this one, in better soil, because I feel like this pot doesn't have any drainage. It's getting really dark again. The sun is gone. But I think that was the issue. And then maybe this, oh, I should also remove mealybugs from it. But then maybe they can both grow together. It's definitely going better than the previous one that I bought from her, because that was 100% my mistake and I killed that I showed you upstairs. But I'm so excited to own this plant. It is so beautiful and I really hope it's gonna continue to grow for me, or grow again at some point.
It's Hoya villosa. This is another Hoya that's very soft on the backsides, and it has a beautiful growth point already. That's looking very healthy. That's amazing.
Last one from Maud was the Hoya villosa. That has definitely grown. It was so adorable to see it grow. Did I get it with... Yeah, I think these two leaves are new. And these two leaves are new. It's a little bit hard to show properly on camera, but it's really beautiful. But then the new growth dropped the leaves. I'm hoping it's starting again. Might be some issues with flat mites. Also, the the pole that I got it is my little pencil that I used to do gold on my pots. You know, the kintsugi kit that I used. That brush, of course, is ruined because epoxy, you can't rinse it out like you can with paint. So I just used that as a little tendril, which I think looks pretty cool. Also, this pot is maybe my most favorite pot of all. I'm gonna change the light a little bit to show you better. Look at these colors. I got this from Natalie, of course. All my beautiful, colorful, almost all my pots are from Natalie, unless they are the Elho plastic pots, which I also really, really love. But this is such a cool combination. It even matches my nails. Wow. I love it. We have quite a few things from her in this color scheme because it's my favorite. My friend Aidana at the My Botanica in Houten also gave me such a generous gift. It was this Hoya Scorticini, a new one.
I'm very, very happy with this. It is so beautiful. I don't know if it comes across how dark this is with all the little sparkles almost.
Unfortunately, this is what that looks like now. A dead stem. I don't know what happened exactly. I feel like the combination of pests and I don't know. It never grew and then it died. So I am so sorry, Aidana. I killed 2 of your cuttings. And it is such a cool plant. Maybe we can do a trade and I can get you some really, really cool plants as a trade for another one, if you still have yours. Sad, but that's what happens sometimes. Plants die. This is why I love sharing with friends, because if you spread your plant out to people and yours dies, you can say, hey, if you ever have a cutting, can I have a cutting back because my mother plant died? And I actually did that. This is kind of a story time that's inappropriate for this video, but Ferry, my huge monstera that I have upstairs, I got that as a cutting from someone that I met on Facebook. It grew so well for me. It's beautiful. She had a huge plant, much bigger. It was crawling all over the living room. And when I messaged her with an update, Mickey is coming to say hello. Hello, everyone. When I messaged her with an update of how good my plant was doing, she said that her whole plant died from thrips. So I offered to give her a cutting back, and at the time she said, no, I'm still struggling with thrips. But then a while later I messaged her again. I have cuttings. Do you want one? I can keep one aside for you. And she did. So I love this way of sharing plants with each other and then having it also as a backup. So that's my, I don't know, little rant about sharing your plants. Someone I used to know used to say sharing is keeping. By sharing your plants, you're actually keeping them because you have the chance to get them back. But let's move on, because at the My Botanica that I went to in April, I bought 2 Hoya as well. And they were these Hoya species Saba. One of them was labeled Hoya species Saba 961.
So I like the veins, but also I don't know if it comes across in this light. It's a little bit shimmery. It has 2 new leaves that I don't know if they've made it through this trip home. We'll have to wait and see.
And this is what the first one looks like now. It has definitely grown a lot. This tendril grew 2 leaves that are a little bit sticky, but look how stunning. This one too. And then it grew a bunch of tendrils over here, splitting off into more tendrils, and all of them are showing signs of flat mites because surprise, surprise. But recently it started to grow more new tendrils from the bottom here. I guess it gave up on the old ones. And there's another one here as well. So this one is still growing. I still have faith in it. And I still love it as well because that veining is just very, very cool. And the other was labeled Hoya species Saba EPC 961.
And I couldn't help myself. It's so similar. There's 2 branches and a ton of leaves.
The other one had so many tendrils that I looped it up on this little trellis thing. I don't even know which leaves are new because, wait, it's really light. The sun is back, hooray. Okay, this is better. This does feel a little bit dehydrated, so I should definitely water. And there's a bunch of mealybugs on the back that I'm seeing that you're not seeing. I don't know if all of these leaves were on this plant already when I bought it, but I can't really tell if it's even growing at all. But all the tendrils, not all of them. A lot of the tendrils are dead. These ones are all dried out. This one is still solid. So we're gonna just wait, I feel like. Wait and see, and maybe get some more beautiful species Saba leaves. I really want to visit these places. There's so many cool plants named after places they're not named after, but they're called Saba because they're from Saba or Sarawak. I really want to visit those places. I should message my friend Irene and say, can I come to Malaysia and let's go together. And maybe Sean as well. Let's go on an adventure. I never showed you this plant, but I bought it with my mum. I don't know when, sometime in the last year, because I wanted to make a video about how these plants, the little hearts, will never actually grow. And then I know for some of you they have grown, but that is really based on luck. You need at least a little bit of material here with the eye for it to grow. So it's still looking the same. I'm watering it sometimes. I want to pull it out, but it's going to make a mess in the living room. Should I? I don't see... Oh, I do see roots. Yep. Okay, good. Pop it back. Clean up the mess later. Oh, this is one thing that I hate about this one. It's always falling. It's also really dry right now, but it's always falling over because the leaf is that way and the pot is very light, and it's not in an outer pot because it is on my little shelf with the drainage that I've talked about before. But maybe it should be in a little pot because there's soil everywhere now because it keeps falling over and I'm covered too. I got one more Hoya from Angela, Casa Botanica, which is called Callistophila Black Cat. That one has definitely grown quite a bit. There were 4 plants in the pot, and most of them didn't, actually 3 of them didn't do anything. 1, 2, 3. I think maybe flat mite related, but this one definitely did. It grew 3 leaves for me, and Mickey is playing with something. Very cute. Yeah, it grew. I don't know. I prefer my regular Callistophila. I don't know why exactly. It's really cool looking, but doesn't spark joy. So it's going to my friend Ronya. It just needs to be treated properly because I don't even know if you can see, but there's mealybugs all over it. It's super sticky. So then later in spring, I got a package from Yukang, who I met at the My Botanica in Ham. He is in Germany somewhere, and we did a Hoya trade. He has insane, beautiful, stunning, cool Hoya. Ow, I pulled my own hair. Unfortunately, somehow I lost the footage of that unboxing, so I've never shared that with you. I did share all the plants in a repot with me video That's the footage I'm gonna use. So it looks a little bit different than normal, but I really, really loved this trade with Yukang, and I really hope the plants are gonna improve because they're not doing well. Spoiler alert. I have a few very cool new Hoya cuttings. Hoya Pandurata Silver. The Pandurata Silver definitely grew because I think these two new leaves are new, but very quickly it started to struggle. You can see the flat mites issues where it's trying to grow, but it can't make it through, and the leaves look dehydrated. It's just looking horrible. That's not the plant that we wanted. Why? So yeah, if this year I'm gonna take better care of them, maybe it will look better and I'll do an update, but for now it looks very bad. Also, the sun is coming through, so I'm gonna have to move you. Hoya Silver Dollar has roots also. Silver Dollar has done nothing. It rooted and it started to grow, but I think the flat mites got it because there is nothing. Can I focus on it? Can you see it's trying to grow, but nothing is coming out. So I don't know. It still looks exactly the same. This is not great. This is what makes me frustrated with Hoya, but especially with flat mites, because you don't see them, you don't know that you have them until it starts to not grow for almost a year. And probably some of you, many of you would have realized sooner, but I've been busy with lots of stuff. And also I've been treating for the pest, but only with the baggies, not with the spray. You can treat flat mites with sulfur, spraying sulfur on it, but that would also kill all my good bugs. So I've been trying to just treat with bugs and see how that goes. And for some, it's worked really well. For others, not so much. So for the new batch, I'm definitely going to put some on this plant. I also see some of the little scale, I think. So I guess I'm treating all of them. Oh, and the cup it's way too light, but that's a cappuccino cup from Piece of Clay that I use. It's perfect for these little pots. This one is extra amazing. This is Hoya Argentea Princess. Wow. So this is a little plastic champagne glass, but the main difference is that I moved it into fluval, which I had never used before. But the person who I did the trade with said that this plant is actually pretty hard to root, and he's had the best success in fluval in a high humidity environment. So the good thing is that there are 2 roots on either side of this plant. So it is definitely working. I even see what I think will be a growth point. When I zoom in a lot with my phone, it looks like the stem on the eye is breaking open for growth to come out. So it's going really, really well. I'm very, very excited and happy. Argentea Princess. It definitely rooted and it tried to grow. See all the roots? It tried to grow, but I think flat mites. So this still looks exactly the same as it did in, when did I show this to you? May and June. There is no growth. It's trying to grow. There's the little, I can't show you in because it's inside the pot, but it's flat mites. So I really don't like them. I really don't like flat mites. But what to do? I mean, it's rooted, so there's a potential for it to grow. Just wait and maybe treat. I'm thinking about doing the sulfur treatment, but I'm gonna talk with Entocare again because I don't want to ruin the good bugs that I have. And I really enjoy working with good bugs. So we wait, I guess. But it's so beautiful. This one can definitely be potted up. This is the AH74. Hoya AH74074 is looking really nice. It's grown a few leaves. This one actually has a lot of silver, which is beautiful. And then a little one here. Little one here, and the growth point still looks happy. So I feel like that's going well. Even though I'm kind of ignoring it, it's just sitting like this in my south-facing window where it's quite cold and just, I don't know, it's not getting the most attention. It lives with the Pinguicula actually, my little carnivorous succulent plants, but it's beautiful and I'm happy with the progress. Next we have some cool Hoya lacunosa, like this one, with a little variegation. These updates are so depressing. Lacunosa asami, the outer variegated lacunosa, it Didn't do anything. This tendril is dead now. Well, I think it rooted. So that's something. But there's no growth. There's a dead leaf. But I think it's flat mites again. So there's not really a nice update. Also, where did the variegation go? I don't know. I don't see it anymore. Maybe the plant decided to not have variegation because it's too risky. I don't know, friends. It's not great. But we're gonna keep trying. I do like Lacunosa a lot, so we're gonna wait wait and see.
This one, beautiful silver shaped one.
All of these updates are so depressing. Lacunosa, mint coin. Adorable. I love it. I love how it looks. It's so silver. There's mealybugs on it actually, so I'm gonna remove those. Can you see in the center? And you can see it's trying to grow, but flat mites. So I am so sorry, little buddy. We're gonna treat, at least put some alcohol in it for the mealybugs, and then maybe, I don't know. I don't know, friends. This is, hopefully we're gonna end on a better note because this is depressing.
And then this one, which to me looks a little bit sick.
The third Lacunosa is that weirdo Amarillo that looks kind of sick and weird. It looks kind of exactly the same as when I got it because this tendril dried up. This tendril dried up. This, I think, is a flat mites issue once again. Another dead leaf. I think that's from another plant, but there is no growth, zero. There might be some death, but at least there is still material to work with. Also mealybugs. Story of my life, do do do, do do do, and keeps you all inside. Story of my life. Singing is not so easy when you have a cold and a cough.
This one is definitely Hoya Species Affinity Lumbii Splash that I'm very excited to grow.
The Lumbii lives upstairs. The leaves are so stunning, but these are the leaves that I got it with. So it tried to grow here, there, and then it grew again. Look at this tendril. Oh, happy tendril. And there's actually a baby leaf. So I guess it can make it through the flat mites issues. I don't know what I did different, but there's growth happening. We might get my first leaf since getting this plant from Yukang. I don't know how many months ago. Was it April or something? So it's now January. You have to have some patience to grow Hoya. It's so beautiful though. Look at this leaf, the splash. I love it. I am so thankful to Yukang for this trade. I love all the plants. I'm sad they're not doing better, but that is up to me and the pests that I have in my house. These cuttings were very healthy and happy and even grew roots during transport. So if you want to do a plant trade with Yukang, check him out on Instagram. He is Hoya Zeke. Then in October, my friend Ciarda sent me a package that I did film an unboxing for.
Hoya Greenhouse, Ciarda.
Oh, Ruthier! Ruthier species UT168.
Look at this beauty. They're kind of velvety. This is stunning.
The Ruthier, I still love this so much. The leaves are so beautiful. The tendril is, it tried to grow, but then it didn't. I do see some new growth trying to come through on there. So I'm hoping that's gonna work. I also see a little growth on this one that looks like it has potential. It looks like the leaves are starting to unfurl. It's such a cool one, and I'm happy that it's making it through this chaos of my Hoya shelves right now because stunning. I definitely want to keep this in the collection and see it grow and thrive.
Species Ache. Ooh, wow. Super dark with really nice veins.
The species Ache that she sent me grew really well at first. It's growing from two different tendrils. See, both eyes got activated and both grew. I think Mickey is gonna go pee behind me, so you might hear some weird noises. It grew two leaves, one on each of the tendrils, and the tendrils kept growing, but then the tendril, this one at least, died back. This one still looks okay, and it's starting to show signs of thrips damage and mealybugs. Yep, he's definitely digging in behind me. Sorry about that. It's such a cool one when it doesn't, well, you can see mealybug stickiness here, but this one doesn't have the damage. So I'm hoping the next leaves will look better again, because this is definitely a dream Hoya and I love it a lot. So big thank you to Ciarda.
Mindorensis Black Dragon. Ooh. Plain green leaves, but kind of also shimmery and a long tendril already. So that's growing fast. I'm gonna look them up on Instagram and see what the flowers look like.
Mindorensis Black Dragon grew really well, compared to the others especially. Because look, it came with these 2 leaves. It grew this one and these 2. And there's a long, long, long tendril. There are definitely mealybugs all over this, even on the front of the leaf, but also on the back. So I'm gonna treat that again with my little alcohol pen. It's cooler than I expected somehow. It's a little bit plain looking, I thought at first, but the shape is very nice and there's some kind of shimmeriness to it. So, oh, the sun is out. That's gonna mess up the shot, but it gets to stay.
Verticillata Lampung. Beautiful veins. And a cool shape too, with the 3 leaves and a new tendril.
I just started filming and the sun came out. I moved spots because the sun was ruining the shot. We have Hoya Verticillata Lampung. Still looks exactly the same with the 3 leaves. There are 2 tendrils now. I think those are new, but no leaves on them. And I think some of them have dried up, but not as much the, whatever it's called, damage. Flat mites. There is a dead tendril here. I don't know what that was trying to do, but it's growing, so it's alive, I think. I don't know. It's a cool shape. This is not the top of the plants that I love, but for now I think it gets to stay, at least until it's grown a leaf. Okay, yeah, that seems like a fair deal.
Cutis porcellana. This is a lot. It's already got a huge peduncle as well. Lots of small leaves.
Cutis porcellana. I'm curious when we see the update, the footage together, if this has grown at all. I feel like it has. There are some leaves that I think grew in my care. It's got nice sun stress on this as well. Very cute. It's very sticky from mealybugs. I don't know if you can see the shimmeriness. That's all mealybug nectar shit. I don't know exactly what it is. But I don't know. There's quite a few plants in this pot. It's growing. It's not taking up a lot of space. I like the sun stress. So this gets to stay.
Species AH001, Vietnam. Lots of splash, 4 leaves, and a new growth point. Really, really cool. I like the galaxy type of splashing.
The last one from Ciarda is this splashy one, the species AH001 from Vietnam. I wonder if this has grown any leaves. It definitely grew a lot of tendril. Look at that. Really long and healthy looking. Did it come with these leaves? I don't know. Editing Roos will know, but no leaves on it yet. But not that much. Oh, huge mealybug. But not that much. What did I want to say? Not that much flat mites damage. It does look either that's roots at the top there or it's aphids. No, it's roots. So it's growing a lot of roots on the side there. The soil that Ciarda sent the plants in dries up really quickly. So I have been trying to water in time so that they don't get dry rot when the roots stay dry too long. They can also rot and die. So that's been a little bit of a challenge. This one is very, very dry, so I'm watering that right after filming. And then from Cartel Down, I got a Hoya as well that I showed you in an unboxing recently. This is called Hoya Bruno, which is a variegated lacunosa. It's adorable! You can see here there's even some new leaves. Unfortunately, that has not been doing very well. I can actually take it off the pot. This is Hoya lacunosa Bruno with a thrips on it. Why? Okay, that's dead now. But this tiny piece is what is left of the cutting that I got, which was quite a big cutting. The rest of it unfortunately rotted and died. So I think they're sending me a replacement because some of these arrived with no roots, unfortunately. But it's still adorable and I still wanted to show you. It's really hard for the camera. It's such a beautiful one. There's lots of variegation on the inside. So I really hope that I can either rescue this one or that the replacement arrives with better roots, better condition. I love Lacunosa, and I have quite a few of them now, but none of them have been doing really well the past year. Hopefully 2025 is the year again for the Hoya and for the Lacunosa specifically as well. And that is all of my Hoya. I hope you enjoyed this 11-month update. It has been very interesting to put together. I remember distinctly filming the first part and being just so sad about how most of my Hoya looked. And I definitely feel a lot more positive now with how they're doing. They're getting stuck at the top together. So I'm grateful I decided to continue filming then and that it's going better. Even though 2024 was not my year for Hoya, I'm hoping to make it my year this year because I definitely think these have such potential. They are so stunning. I think they have a good basis now to continue, and spring is coming at some point, so I'm gonna take good care of them now. Hopefully we'll get many, many new leaves, but I'm definitely getting rid of some, which feels nice to create some more space on the shelves for the ones that I want to focus on. So yeah, I hope this video isn't 2 hours long. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I also hopefully have counted my plants by now when I'm editing this, so I will put on the screen how many different species I own before getting rid of the ones that I'm getting rid of. I love Hoya, and I have ever since December 2019. It's been a long journey together, and I hope you enjoyed seeing it with me. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe below if you haven't already, and leave a nice comment. I would love to hear what your favorite Hoya are, what your Hoya are that are still on your wish list. I don't think I have any on my wish. Well, I still have some on my wish list, but I'm not actively looking for them because I have so many already that deserve my attention first. Okay, time to clean up the house and take care of all these plants. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.